Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Creative Council. My name is Natasha and today we're going to be discussing what does hands and feet mean in a dream. So we'll start with hands. If you're seeing hands in a dream or you're doing something with your hands or it stands out significantly, hands are going to be a representation of morale or purity and cleanness. David talks about in the Psalms, I wash my hands in innocence as I go up to your altar. And also in the book of Matthew, when Jesus is being brought to Pontius Pilate, and he is the crowd and the Pharisees are saying crucify him, he says to them, I wash my hands of this matter. So hands are going to be a representation of morale. And David also talked about in the Psalms, who shall ascend into the mountain of the Lord? Him who has clean hands and a pure heart. So it's gonna, depending on, like I said, other elements, it could mean that. Or hands also can represent relationships. When you think about, when you're meeting someone, you shake their hand. That could be a partnership. You hold hands with people you love, your friends and family, your spouse, etc. So it just depends on what's happening with the hands and what's happening in the dream. Hands can also represent healing. The laying on of hands throughout the Bible is an instrument in which healing can flow. And usually in a dream, if someone is laying their hands on you, and it's not violent, but they're actually laying their hands on you, then that could be a signifying healing, or you being a part of that person's, healing process. My grandma, actually my great granny, actually had an encounter. It wasn't a dream, but it was an actual encounter when she was dying because she had been poisoned, and she was in her deathbed, and she looked up and Jesus literally walked into the room and he said her name twice, and then he walked up to where he said, you will live and you will not die, and he touched her. He put his hands on her and she was instantly healed in that moment. And she got up out of her deathbed and her sick bed. And so God healed her in that moment, laying his physical hands on her. So you can kind of see what I'm getting to as far as it could be a part of healing as well. Hands can also represent the work of God, the work that God has called you to do. And it doesn't have to necessarily be church. I know a lot of people associate, if God is calling you to something, then that has to be the church, and that's just not necessarily the case. He could be calling you to any of the 7 mountains of culture, which is family, church, education, business, government, media, arts and entertainment. It could be any of those things. So hands could be a representation of God wanting you to go in a certain direction. So just pay attention to those kind of things. So feet in the dream, what do feet mean? Well, feet are going to generally represent our lives and how we live our lives, or more specifically how we walk our lives out. So how we walk, the way we walk. In Ephesians 4:1, Paul urges us to walk in a way that proves that we are called by God. So it is going to be a way we walk. It's going to be a representation of a way we walk. Now, if you're washing feet or getting your feet washed, that can be a representation of you serving someone and you really being a part of their deliverance or their healing. And the reason I say that is because if you're walking out life with someone, if the feet represent someone walking their life out, and or the way they walk their life out, then you coming alongside them could be you walking with them in deliverance and healing into a greater measure God is wanting for that person. You washing your feet, that means that God is using you, your hands. Remember, you use your hands to wash feet, right? So remember I said hands can be representation of healing. So it could be God using you to help someone in their walk as they walk their life out, as they walk through a certain season, and you being an instrument of healing and helping them to walk into peace as well. So it all just really depends on other elements, what you're doing in the dream, and that really will play an important part in the overall interpretation. But I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave it in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If there are a lot of common questions, or if you email me or Facebook message me and there's a lot of common questions, I'll go ahead and do a video on that. But don't forget to like and subscribe if the video has blessed you. And until next time, be healed, be whole, be free. Bye.